my next video. It's Anna here, and today I will show you how to create a mixed media layout using Build-A-Flower Dahlia stamp set from Altenew. It's a March release, and each month Altenew is releasing different. Altenew is releasing different Build-A-Flower set, and you always get a set of stamps and set of dies matching to those stamps. You can also purchase a subscription if you would like to get them monthly and you like flowers. It will be just a perfect opportunity for you to build your stash, especially because if you are a subscriber to the monthly Build-A-Flower kit, you get a discount for the sets. So this month we are playing with Dahlia, and the Dahlia has, I hope I'm pronouncing it well, has a black outline, has an outline and few layers. It's quite a simple and fast to stamp set because the layers there are only 2 layers of color, or maybe 3, I don't remember. No, 3 layers of color. So you have an outline and 3 layers of color, and it goes really fast because I'm usually stamping in batches. So I stamped a lot of flowers using 3 different sets of inks, and I will list those inks in the description box if you would like to use similar colors. But as you can see, part of the flower remains white, so we have color only on some parts of the flower, and not the whole flower is being kind of colored by ink. And this is only kind of for the video stamping only, but usually I just put the stamp it once, rotate the paper, stamp it the second time, and I change the paper a few times, and then I go back with the second layer. I stamp the second layer on all of my papers, and then I change the layer and stamp the second one on all over the papers I've got. So this is usually not how I am working, just stamp by stamp. I'm working in multiply images, and you can see me doing that on one of my previous videos with Build-A-Flower flowers on my YouTube channel. If I will not forget, I will link it to the description box, so you can learn how to fast stamp a lot of similar images. And now it's time to cut my elements. I am using coordinating dies. This set contains 2 flowers and several leaves. I only stamped 1 flower to show you how it's done because it's really easy. And of course I stamped both sizes and more leaves using this stamp set, but I did it off camera because otherwise this video would last so long. So as you can see, this is my pretty collection of flowers, and I'm ready to use them on layout. I'm starting with 12 by 12 watercolor, no, it's not a watercolor paper, it's just a regular cardstock paper, and I'm covering it with a clear gesso. This gesso is by Prima, and I really like using it. It has a very smooth texture, it spreads really easily on the paper, so this is the one if you would like to use on the paper and you don't want your gesso to be visible, because this one is transparent. So after my gesso was dry, as you can see, it's not shiny, it has a very smooth satin finish. I can work with my colors. Gesso prevents colors from soaking into paper, which is really nice if you would like to mix the colors, change your mind, or wipe them off. Gesso is just a very forgiving kind of a medium, and I'm using 3 colors of mist to create this kind of a gradient of blue colors, and I am connecting them with with each other using just a plain water. Thanks to the gesso, the colors didn't soak up into the background immediately, so I have time to work with them, make them wash together. And I also add the colors only on the half of the paper, and I created kind of splatters on the other part of the paper. I don't want the colors to cover all of my papers. And during this process, I remember about drying my paper a little bit, because I don't want the colors to mix between the splatters. So I only make paper vertical in one direction. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I just want them to go down. I don't want them to go on both sides. And that's why I am using heat gun to kind of manage the process. So the colors won't mix too much, and they do not spread too much down to the bottom of the paper. Or to the right edge right now. After I dried a little bit of the color, I am adding just a clean water to add a little bit more washes, but this time they will have a more subtle color, because not all the pigment will react with water. So this is just, you know, process you can't repeat all the time. So every time you work with gesso and mist, you will get slightly different results, but every time they will be as pretty as for the first time. After my background was dry, I took a stencil with flowers and a white texture paste, and I applied flowers on some of the splatters. As you can see, I am not spreading the texture paste through the whole stencil. I am just adding that paste here and there. I don't want to cover the whole page with the same pattern, and I am not covering the right side with the texture paste, because it will be covered with flowers and you won't be able to see it, so it's pointless. After my texture paste was dry, I started arranging the flowers. I mixed them all together. So first I had to kind of group them in 3 colors, because I used 3 ink sets to stamp them, and each ink set corresponds with the colors of mist I used on my page. And I'm starting to arrange the flowers around my picture. This is the picture I chose. This is the picture of my daughter Maya. She has a striped white and green blouse, so I think this matches this color scheme perfectly. Usually I create with rainbow colors or pink, yellow, blue combo, because those are my favorite ones, and this time I wanted to do something a little bit different. I mostly have blue, pink and yellow ink colors, so it's not easy for me to create only a monochromatic layout, but in case of blue colors I had 3 sets of ink cubes, so it was just the perfect amount to create this kind of a gradient layout. And after I arrange my leaves, my flowers, I'm starting adding leaves. I also used a pretty set of ink cubes with green colors too. I will link it in the description box. And first, I'm not gluing anything down. I'm just trying to create the composition I like. After the result will be satisfying for me, I will start gluing the flowers down, but not all the flowers will be glued down to the background directly. Some of them will be raised above the surface using 3D foam squares, and this part I cut out from the video because it took me a while and it was a really technical and boring thing. And all the flowers are now glued down to the surface, and it's time to embellish the page. I am using some bits and pieces from Crate Paper collections, mostly the Willow Lane line, because it has similar colors, but I'm only using bits and pieces here and there. Of course, I don't want to cover my pretty flowers because it would be pointless for me to spend so much time stamping them, arranging them, just to cover them all. So I'm picking only some small elements like butterflies and some birds to embellish my page a little bit. You don't have to add it. Flowers are pretty just like they are. You can use them just like they are. I just like bold layouts. I like adding layers and layers and layers, and sometimes I don't know where to stop, and I always think that I should have add more to the layout or mini album. I always feel like they are a little bit empty, and it makes me come back to the project and add some more layers later too. So this is it. I embellished the project. So as you can see, I didn't add a lot of stuff. And now it's time to add a little bit of splatters using mists. And I didn't cover the picture, but you may consider it because otherwise you can have it destroyed by some splatters, especially if they are printed with the home printer. If you will stain it, the stain won't be removable. And I'm using 3 different mist colors to spread the color with splatters. And that's it. This is how my layout looks. I will list you the products I used in the description box. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to visit Altenew card blog to join the blog hub and to win some great prizes too. And you can also subscribe to the monthly subscription kit and get your Build-A-Flower stamp set and dies every month delivered to your door. Bye bye!